Hey everyone, welcome back. So you've sent us a ton of articles all about XRP price predictions.
Which tells me you're all wondering the same thing.
Yeah.
Is this thing going to the moon?
Or is this going to crash and burn?
Right.
And honestly, I get it. The crypto market is, well, it's a wild ride, that's for sure.
It really is. Yeah, you see everything from this is definitely going to make you a millionaire to buckle up, this is going to be a bumpy ride.
Exactly. So to try to make sense of it all, I thought maybe we could take a step back first
Okay.
and look at, where XRP has been before.
Yeah, always good to, look at the map before you head into uncharted territory, right?
Exactly. So XRP has actually been around for a while, but I feel like things really blew up back in 2017
Oh, yeah.
when it hit almost $4 a coin. I remember everyone talking about it back then.
Yeah, it was a wild time. But that's the thing about XRP, like the Axie article pointed out, that high was followed by a pretty brutal crash.
Oh, really? How bad are we talking?
A 96% drop from its 2018 high to its 2020 low.
96%. Oh, man. That's a serious reality check right there.
Okay. But it sounds like a XRP isn't alone in this, right? You mentioned something about crypto cycles going through similar patterns.
Yeah, it's true. It's like, think of it like waves on the ocean.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're gentle, sometimes they're massive, but there's always a rhythm to it.
Right.
And understanding these cycles, like the Bitcoin halving cycle that the Coin Codex article mentioned, it can be really helpful when you're trying to, like, ride those waves, so to speak.
Okay, so Bitcoin halving.
Yeah.
What is that exactly? And how does it affect, like, the price of XRP?
So basically, every 4 years,
Right.
the rate at which new Bitcoins are created gets cut in half. That's the halving.
Right.
And this can trigger these, like, huge price fluctuations. And because Bitcoin is, like, the big dog in the crypto world,
Right.
these fluctuations can ripple outwards, influencing the prices of other coins, including XRP.
Got it. So basically, Bitcoin sneezes and XRP gets a cold. Okay. And on top of all that, we've got to talk about this whole SEC lawsuit against Ripple. A lot of the articles you sent mention that.
Yeah, for sure. That's a big one. It's essentially a battle over how XRP is classified.
Okay.
Is it a security, like a stock, or is it something else?
And that's important because
That classification has huge implications for its regulation, its adoption, pretty much everything.
So what you're saying is, like, this lawsuit could really make or break XRP.
Yeah, potentially. If Ripple wins, it could pave the way for, like, massive adoption, especially by big financial institutions. And that could send the price skyrocketing.
Okay, so big implications there.
Big time.
Okay, so while we wait to see what happens with that, let's dive into those 2024 predictions.
What are we looking at? Bullish, bearish?
It's actually a real mixed bag.
Really?
Yeah, some analysts are cautiously optimistic, like they're predicting XRP could hit somewhere between 50 to 70 cents by the end of next year.
Okay.
But then you've got others who are way more bullish, throwing out numbers like $2, even $3.
Wow, that's a huge difference. Why such a big range?
Well, that's the crypto market for you. It's incredibly difficult to predict, especially that far out. Even within the optimistic forecasts, like the one from Coinpedia, there are warnings about potential dips and fluctuations along the way.
So even if XRP does well, it's probably not going to be a straight shot up.
Right. And remember, all of this is happening against the backdrop of the overall crypto market, which has its own set of, ups and downs.
It's all connected.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got 2024, but what about, like, the long-term big picture outlook? What are the experts saying about XRP in, say, 2025 and beyond?
Well, if you thought the 2024 predictions were all over the place, you're in for a ride. The long-term forecasts are even more diverse. I mean, we're talking everything from some analysts saying it'll stay below $1 to others claiming it could hit $10, maybe even $20 by 2030.
Wow, okay. So basically no one has a crystal ball.
Pretty much.
But these predictions have to be based on something, right? Like, what are people looking at when they're making these long-term forecasts?
You're right. They do have their reasons. So, like, Coinpedia, they're really bullish on XRP, predicting it could hit $15 by 2030.
Okay.
But their reasoning is tied to their belief that more and more financial institutions are going to start using Ripple's technology.
So more adoption equals a higher price, basically.
Exactly. But on the other hand, you've got the more bearish predictions,
Right.
like the one from Token Metrics. They think that even if the entire crypto market goes through a massive boom, XRP might struggle to break past $1.
Oh, wow. What's the reasoning there?
They're concerned about competition. They point out that Ripple isn't the only player in the game, And there are other cryptocurrencies and payment systems out there all vying for a slice of the same pie.
So it's not enough for XRP to do well. It has to outperform all of its competition, too.
Basically, yeah. And then there's another big factor we haven't even touched on yet.
Which is,
Regulation. Governments around the world are still figuring out what to do with cryptocurrency. The Changelly article, I think it was, highlighted just how much government policies and regulations could impact XRP's future.
wow, so many moving parts.
It's true.
This is a lot to think about. Speaking of which, you mentioned something earlier about technical analysis.
Yeah.
What is that, and how does it play into all of this?
So technical analysis is like this whole other approach to trying to predict price movements.
Okay.
And it's all about looking at the charts, studying those historical price patterns and trends to try to, get a glimpse into the future.
So less about the tech behind XRP and more about, like, reading the tea leaves of the charts.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
For example, remember we were talking about moving averages before?
Yeah.
Like the SMA and EMA, the CoinCodex article talked about those.
Right.
Basically, they're tools that traders use to try to identify trends and support and resistance levels, just trying to anticipate where the price might go next.
So you can think of them like financial breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
That might lead you to a big pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Haha, maybe. But it's important to remember that technical analysis is definitely not foolproof.
Right. It's not an exact science.
Exactly. It's just one tool among many, and it's important to combine it with other types of analysis, like understanding the actual technology, the team behind it, the regulatory landscape, all of that.
Right. So look at the charts, but don't bet the farm based on what you see.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about cycles, competition, regulation, technical analysis. Before we go any further, is there anything else, any other factors that could send XRP to the moon or, back down to Earth?
Let's see. Well, we've got to start with the elephant in the room, right? That SEC lawsuit. A decisive win for Ripple would be huge.
Yeah.
It would remove so much uncertainty, and that could lead to even more widespread adoption,
Right.
which, of course, could drive up the price. And then beyond the financial institutions, there's the whole world of like real-world uses for XRP. Cross-border payments, supply chain management, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, finding practical applications for XRP seems like it would be a game changer.
For sure. But on the flip side, if Ripple loses that lawsuit, it could have the opposite effect.
Oh, right.
It could really hinder adoption and potentially cause some serious price drops.
Okay, so the stakes are pretty high.
Definitely. And we can't forget about the competition, right? The crypto space is only getting more crowded.
True that. It's like trying to stand out in a sea of digital coins.
Exactly. And then, of course, there's always the unpredictable nature of the market itself.
Right. It can be a bit of a roller coaster ride.
Absolutely.
Speaking of roller coasters, you mentioned earlier about looking at XRP's price in relation to Bitcoin. What did you mean by that?
Right. It's easy to get caught up in looking at the US dollar price of XRP.
Yeah, that's usually what I look at.
Right. But the Investing Haven article made a really good point about looking at the XRP BTC chart instead.
XRP BTC. Hold on, you lost me. What is that?
So instead of just looking at the US dollar price, you're looking at the price of XRP in Bitcoin.
Oh, okay, I see.
So basically, you're comparing apples to apples, seeing how XRP is performing against the gold standard of cryptocurrency.
That is a really interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, it gives you a different perspective. Like, even if XRP's dollar value is going up, if Bitcoin is skyrocketing, XRP might actually be losing ground.
Wow, I'm going to have to start paying attention to that. The XRP BTC chart you said.
Exactly.
Okay, I've got to write that down. This is great information.
Well, I think we've covered a ton of ground already, and I, for one, am definitely feeling more informed. But we're not done yet, are we? There's still more to come, right?
You bet. We've still got to dive into some of the more niche predictions out there.
Ooh, like what?
Well, for example, did you know that some people are using astrology to try to predict the price of XRP?
Astrology. You're kidding, right?
Nope. We'll get into all that and more after the break, so stay tuned.
So before the break, we were talking about the XRP BTC chart.
And how it's important to not just look at XRP's price in US dollars, but to also compare to how Bitcoin is doing.
Right, because it gives you that bigger picture perspective.
Exactly, because even if XRP is, going up in value,
if Bitcoin is skyrocketing,
yeah,
XRP could actually be kind of falling behind.
Exactly. You got to compare apples to apples.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But, with all this talk about lawsuits and adoption and cycles and technical analysis, it's a lot.
And it kind of makes you wonder, like, how can anyone actually predict what's going to happen with XRP?
Yeah, I get that.
It feels like trying to predict the weather.
It's definitely a challenge, and you're right, there are so many factors at play.
It can be overwhelming trying to wrap your head around it all.
Yeah. So, like, what do we do with all this information?
I think the most important thing to remember is that no one can predict the future with 100% certainty,
Right.
especially in a market like cryptocurrency. So it's not about finding the right prediction.
Okay.
It's about understanding the different factors involved.
Right.
And then making your own informed decisions based on your own, risk tolerance and your investment goals.
So it's more about, like, understanding the game than it is about knowing exactly which horse is going to win.
Yeah, exactly. It's about being an informed investor, doing your research, not just relying on like gut feelings or, what someone on Twitter is saying.
Right. Always good advice. So basically, knowledge is power.
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah.
The more you know about XRP, the more you understand about Ripple,
Hmm.
the better equipped you'll be to kind of navigate all of this.
It's like that old saying, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day.
Right.
Teach a man to fish.
Yeah, yeah.
And all that.
Exactly. We're not here to just give you the answers. We want to give you the tools to find those answers for yourself.
I like that. We're empowering our listeners.
There you go.
Okay, so we've got the long-term view.
We've talked about the big factors that could affect XRP's price. But what about like the short term? Because I know a lot of people, they're also interested in those like day-to-day, week-to-week fluctuations.
Oh, absolutely. And some of those articles you sent actually got really granular with those kinds of predictions. Remember the Coin Codex article?
Yeah, they had a whole section on daily and weekly predictions.
Exactly.
And that chart where they showed like the potential price range for the next 30 days.
Yeah, the short-term forecasts can be interesting, but you got to take them with a grain of salt.
Okay, so not like financial gospel?
Not quite. I mean, they can give you a sense of, like, the current market sentiment,
Okay.
maybe even highlight some potential trading opportunities. But at the end of the day, those daily and weekly predictions, they're based on a lot of assumptions.
So like looking at those charts and patterns we talked about earlier.
Exactly. They're relying heavily on technical analysis, which, has its limitations.
Right, right. Not an exact science.
Yes.
But I have to admit, there is something kind of exciting about those short-term predictions. It's like watching a financial thriller unfold in real time.
I get that. I totally get that.
Okay, so Coin Codex had those daily and weekly predictions. Was there anything else that stood out to you in the articles?
Let's see. Oh, the Investing Haven article. They had this cool table
Okay.
with daily XRP price predictions for like the next couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. They had like a minimum, an average, and a maximum price target for each day.
Yeah, exactly. Like a little roadmap of potential price action.
But even they were careful to say, like, don't make any big decisions based on these daily predictions.
Right, and for good reason. Because
Oh.
so many things can happen in a day, in an hour, even in a minute.
It's true. It's true. So much volatility.
Exactly. News events can drop, market sentiment can shift, large trades can happen.
Oh, right. That can definitely move the price.
All of that can cause these like crazy price swings in the blink of an eye.
It's like trying to predict,
What's something really unpredictable?
it's like trying to predict which way a leaf is going to fall from a tree.
Ooh, I like that.
When the wind is blowing and it's like just,
Yeah.
who knows?
Exactly. It's unpredictable. And that's part of what makes the crypto world, equal parts exciting and terrifying.
Well said.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about the thrill of those short-term price swings.
But as we kind of wrap up this part of our deep dive.
If you had to give one piece of advice to our listeners,
Yeah.
we're
Okay.
trying to make sense of all these XRP price predictions,
What would it be?
I would say focus on the bigger picture.
Okay.
Understand the trends, the factors that are driving the market, and then use that knowledge to make informed decisions that align with your own personal financial goals.
So don't get too caught up in the day-to-day noise.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine to pay attention to the short-term stuff, but don't let it distract you from your overall strategy.
Right. Slow and steady wins a race, or something like that.
Exactly.
Okay, that's great advice. So, as we head into the final part of this deep dive.
We're going to shift gears a little bit
Okay.
and explore some of the, shall we say, more unconventional approaches to XRP price prediction.
Oh, this is where it gets interesting.
You bet. We're talking astrology, numerology, maybe even a little bit of crystal ball gazing.
Don't forget the tarot cards.
Oh, yeah. Can't forget those. Stay with us. All right. So we've spent a lot of time in the deep end of XRP price predictions.
All those charts and trends and technical analysis.
But I promised you something a little different, a little more out there.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about those alternative theories.
Exactly. We're going full cosmic, baby. Astrology, numerology, maybe even a little tarot card reading.
Right, because why not, right? When you're talking about something as volatile as crypto, sometimes you got to look beyond the charts.
Exactly. And I have to admit, I was a little skeptical at first. But some of these articles, they make some pretty interesting points. Like, take the Astro Crypto article you sent. It talks about how planetary alignments can actually influence market trends.
Right. They were talking about, like, Mercury retrograde and how that can supposedly mess with technology and communication, which obviously could impact, cryptocurrency.
Right. And there's the whole numerology thing.
Yeah.
Apparently, certain numbers are considered lucky or unlucky in some circles.
Oh, yeah, like that one article, I think it was Cryptonumerics, they were talking about how the number 8 is considered lucky in some cultures.
Right, right.
And they were making a whole case for why that could mean good things for XRP.
I don't know about all that, but hey, I'm open to it. It's
Yeah.
definitely a different way of looking at things.
For sure. And whether or not you believe in any of this stuff, I think it's important to, like, keep an open mind.
Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, the future is uncertain.
Right.
And I think that's something that we've really seen throughout this entire deep dive.
Yep.
Whether you're looking at charts or reading tea leaves or consulting the stars,
There are just no guarantees when it comes to cryptocurrency.
it's true. And I think that's actually a good thing.
Oh, how so?
Well, it keeps things exciting.
That's one way to look at it.
Right. And it reminds us to be adaptable, to be willing to learn and adjust our strategies as we go.
Very true. It's all about being like a crypto chameleon.
I love it, adapting to the ever-changing environment.
Exactly. And I think that's a great note to end on. So, as we wrap up this deep dive into the wild world of XRP price predictions,
We want to hear from you. Do you have any unconventional methods for predicting the crypto market? Have you consulted the stars? Have you pulled out your tarot cards? Let us know.
yeah, we're dying to know. Hit us up on social media, send us an email, whatever works for you.
We love hearing from you all. But for now, from both of us here at The Deep Dive, thanks for listening.